Hello and good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to the webinar on BSc Sports and Exercise Science. It's great to see you all out here today as all of you have taken some time out to find out more about our new course. I am personally really very excited about this webinar, and I'm sure most of you have been waiting and are excited about the webinar. So I would like to just check how excited are you? So if you guys are excited, please pull up the chat box. On the right hand side, you will have an option to pull up your chat box. Pull up your chat box and type Binod for me in it. Binod, Binod. I know it's trending, so I would like to see how excited are you. Yes, I'm getting in some Binods. Yes, people are excited, and I see that the excitement is a lot. That's brilliant. Yes, all of you are looking charged up. I see some capital Binods as well. Great. Okay, so I will introduce myself. My name is Ashutosh Rathod, and I, along with my colleague Mr. Aditya Singh, will be moderators for this webinar. And in this webinar, our expert panel, which we have already looked at, you have seen it in the invite. The expert panel will clear all your doubts regarding the sports and will help you about understanding our course better. So, I am sure that you guys are ready to expect the other side of the sports here. So, yes, we will be clearing all your doubts today. So I would like to welcome and introduce our expert panel. So first, we'll start with Miss Mansi Joshi. Mansi is a para badminton world champion in 2019. Hi Mansi, she's waving out to you all. So yeah, and Mansi is the contender for India for Tokyo 2020 Paralympics. Now it has been postponed and the date will be shifted to August 2021. So we are looking forward to it, Mansi, and we wish you good luck for you for that. So Mansi has also received the highest state honor, which is Maharashtra Rajya Eklavya Khel Krida Puraskar. Apart from that, Mansi has won a national award for being best sports person with disability. So yes, Mansi, we welcome you to the webinar.
You.
We'll move on to Dr. Jose James. Dr. Jose James is a former registrar and director at School of Physical Education and Sports Sciences at Mahatma Gandhi University, Kottayam. He has served as consultant for youth and sports for Republic of Maldives. He is currently director of academics at Universal Group, which is based in Kochi. Welcome, Joseph sir. We are glad to have you on board.
Thank you.
Thank you. Apurva Mathankar ma'am. We'll move on to Dr. Apurva Mathankar. Apurva ma'am is a co-founder of Strength and Conditioning Academy. She is a member of National Strength and Conditioning Association, which is situated in Denver, Colorado. She is a certified strength and conditioning specialist. She is master's in physiotherapy from KM Hospital. So, yeah, Purnam, we welcome you here today for the webinar.
Thank you.
Moving on to Dr. Uttam Kendre. Most of you might be aware of him already if you have studied in Mumbai. He was former sport director for Mumbai University. He has completed his doctorate from Lakshmibai National Institute of Physical Education, Gwalior, and he specializes in training methodology, scientific principles of coaching and training. So he has vast experience of teaching the teachers, and there is a very high possibility that all your PE teachers and sport directors that you have gone through, they actually might be trained by Kendre sir. So welcome Kendre sir. Moving on next to Dr. Preeti Mhendre. Preeti ma'am is an associate professor at KJ Somaya College of Physiotherapy. She has completed her master's from similar to Preeti ma'am has completed her master's from KEM Hospital. I'm really sorry about that. She has completed her master's from KEM Hospital, and she specializes in musculoskeletal sciences. And she has more than 13 years of experience in the field. So she is here to share that with us. Thank you, Preeti ma'am, and welcome on for the webinar here. And finally, Mr. Aizaz Khan, Director of Somaya Sports Academy, who has thought about this course and had planned to get it for all of us. So Aizaz sir is the Director of Somaya Sports Academy. He has over 25 years of experience in the sport field. He has served as a consultant for Hazaribagh Olympic Association, and he specializes in grassroots sports and infrastructure development across various sports. So welcome Aizaz sir, and I'm glad that you are here. You all, this panel, as you, everybody has been introduced to this panel now. You guys can ask your questions, have your queries stored with you, and I'm sure this expert panel will clear all your doubts. So I want Aditya, my co-colleague and moderator, to take you all through all the presentation that we have and explain the program details to you. So Aditya, over to you, please.
Thank you, Ashu. There is something common between all of us present here, and that is we love sports. Sports has been an integral part of our life as a player or as a follower. Please write down in the chat box the name of the sport you play or you follow. So let's see the background of our aspirants. Please write down the name of the sport you play or you follow. We are getting great responses. Football, cricket, squash, basketball. Thank you for responding, everyone. Before we begin the program, we will play a small quiz similar to Kaun Banega Crorepati's fastest fingers first. So the attendees are requested to please provide the correct answer in the chat box, but you have to be very quick. Okay. So I hope everyone is ready. So let's go on the first question. I hope you all are excited. Let's go on to the first question of the quiz. I hope the image is right now on the screen. The setup shown in the image is for a very famous endurance test. Please provide the name of the test in the chat box. Let's see the answers. Yeah, so we have got the answer by Sankalp. Sankalp was very quick. Okay, it's pretty famous when it comes to the Indian cricket team. Let's move on to the next question. I hope girls and boys, you are ready. The image shows a technology introduced in FIFA World Cup 2018. Please provide the name of the technology in the chat box. Okay. Yeah. Many have replied VAR and goal line technology. Okay. Thank you for responding. Both VAR and goal line technologies were introduced, but this is specific to goal line technology. Congratulations, who have typed the answers correctly. Let's move on to the next question. Please be ready. Okay. The image shows a technology used in the game of lawn tennis. Please provide the name of the technology in the chat box. I'll just repeat the question. The image shows a technology used in the game of lawn tennis. Please provide the name of the technology in the chat box. Ashu, am I audible to you?
Yes, you are, Adi. Clearly.
Yes, pretty loud and clear.
Yeah. So this technology is common between cricket and lawn tennis. So that is the hint. Yeah, we have found the winner in Sarthak Gadge. Congratulations. That is Hawkeye. A few of us call that ball tracking. So Hawkeye is the technology. Let's move on to the next question. Do you think science and technology has changed the way sport is played, watched, and followed? If you think yes, please type yes in the chat box. If you think no, please type no in the chat box. Okay, it's kind of a poll. Yeah, all of you are agreeing to it. Thank you for responding, everyone. Yeah, so I'm getting the maximum answers in the chat box as yes. So you are pretty convinced that science and technology is changing the way the sport is played, watched and followed. So let's move ahead. BSc Sports and Exercise Science by Somaya Sports Academy. I remember 20 years ago, the fielding standard of Indian cricket was not world class. But with the help of performance conditioning and scientific coaching, the Indian players are one of the best bunch out there right now. IPL has acted as a catalyst. The fan following has increased manifolds with the social media interactions and webcasting of live matches. Let's straight away jump to the potential of sports industry globally and when it comes to the Indian ecosystem. One of the largest industries worldwide. Okay, so sports is regarded as one of the largest industries worldwide in terms of generating employment and revenue. So global sports market was valued at 488.5 billion in 2018, which is expected to touch 614.1 billion by 2022. The market size of sports industry across India was 77 billion rupee in 2018. So it is growing at a very fast rate. Let's consider the drivers for growth. One nation, one sport. Cricket and cricketers reigned supreme. However, things are changing. While cricket remains popular, other sports are also making an impression. A nation that did not produce a single individual medalist at the Olympics from 1956 to 1992 has made its presence felt on the podiums of global sporting events in the recent past. From being cynical about the prospects of our athletes, we as a nation have started expecting them to perform and excel. This is a monumental change. Okay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us today a world champion, Ms. Manshi Joshi. Ma'am, please share your valuable insight on how has the sport of badminton grown in the last 15 years.
Hi
Yes,
everyone. Thank you, Adi, for the question. So yeah, the badminton as a sport has changed completely in the media actually since last 15 years. If you see, Gopi sir, All England win in 2011, you will be surprised that it was publicized. It was in the front news or the headlines around that time. And the way he has taken the whole badminton as an ecosystem into the next level is it's a great thing to see the sport progress. You can see, currently Shrikant, there was a time when Shrikant reached world number 1 position. So India was basically not a badminton nation. Usually China or Korea was, gaining that kind of a popularity. But currently India is getting closer to become a badminton nation, and all thanks to the current Badminton Association of India and their coaches, especially Gopi sir. So you can see last in 2012 when Saina Nehwal won the bronze medal at Olympics, it changed the way people consumed badminton on TV. Everybody actually, I remember I logged into YouTube at that time, and I checked out checked out all the previous matches of badminton because I think on Doordarshan all the matches were not telecasted. 2016, you see Sindhu winning a silver. So all over the years, the badminton as a sport has progressed a lot, and Saina had reached number 1 position at one point. Shrikant had reached number 1 position. This is in singles, but if you look at doubles, it was no different. So you can see Jwala Gutta, you remember Ashwini Ponnappa in women's doubles. Currently, if you count, then there is two hopefuls. We have two Mumbai member. Like we have so many players coming up from different smaller cities, bigger cities, and who are making up to be the next contenders for Olympic Games. So badminton as a sport has, I think, over the years has changed, and with badminton leagues coming into picture, so the next sport is badminton after cricket, and people are consuming badminton on all the channels equally. So I think, yeah, it has come a long way in these last 15 years.
Great, ma'am. Thank you for your insights. it is pretty evident if the players are coming from the second tier city in any sport. So the federation role is very important. Thank you for your insights, ma'am. We'll go ahead. So the next drivers for growth is the sports leagues like the Indian Premier League. Okay. On similar lines for football, we have the Indian Super League. Then comes the Pro Kabaddi League, and similarly, there are leagues which is happening for badminton, table tennis. Okay. So sports league are a major driver when it comes to the growth of a sport in India. Coming to increasing sports sponsorship. Okay. So all of us are aware that Vivo is the title sponsor for IPL. Now we see in the news by 18th of August, we'll come to know whether Patanjali or Amazon or some other brand will be the title sponsor. So due to sports sponsorship, the large chunk of money being invested by the private companies, the sport leagues are going world class in India. Let's move on to esports. So let us hear from Mr. Aizaz Khan, from our esteemed panelist. Sir, how has the esports platform evolved in the last decade, and especially in the COVID-19 situation?
Thank you, Adi. Good evening, everyone. Esport. Yeah. The word esport has been thrown around a lot lately, thanks to PUBG, Fortnite, and few more. So I believe esport is not the next big thing. If you go to see, because it already has made its way in the Indian gaming scenario. Worldwide, I would tell you a reference is Forbes report, where it says esport revenue generated have reached more than $1 billion, and its audience have exceeded up to 433 million, which is definitely more than the American football and rugby put together. And the prediction which is there for 2020, end of 2020, is around 645 million. And the same that if it comes to India in last couple of years, if you see brand like Dream 11, MPL, Mobile Premier League, so they have exceeded all expectation. I don't know if I may quote Mr. Mukesh Ambani and my dear friend Nitish Mitterson from Nazara Game. What they are predicting, they're saying that esport is going to be bigger than music, movie, and television put together. So let's see. And of course, thanks to COVID, all these figures are superseded by 5 years. So we are just fast forwarded. We know because we've been hurried up because of the COVID, and we're all into technology now. And hopefully soon, in near future, you will find an esport academy under Somaya Sports Academy, where we will train and conduct esports event. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing the knowledge about esports. Yeah, so the next driver for growth is a rise of fan engagement platforms like Dream 11 and MPL. So there are a lot many fantasy leagues which has been started in the lines of the leagues happening across the world or in India. So if any of you play the fantasy league, be it IPL or be it the English Premier League, please type yes in the chat box. So we'll come to know whether you are active in the fantasy league platform. Please type yes in the chat box. Thank you for responding. Now let's come to the next point. All of us are aware, whenever a world championship happens, like a FIFA World Cup or a cricket World Cup, there is an increase in the sales of merchandise and sports equipment. Thus, it impacts every domain, right from sports manufacturing to retail. Very important, the job creation and government initiatives. Demand of skilled sports professionals. So if you go to see this table, this is directly taken from the Sector Skill Council Vision document of FICCI, where they are predicting that by 2022, in the category of sports, science and technology, there will be around 10.27 lakh jobs created. Similarly, for sports management, sports coaching, in the entire sports ecosystem, the sports business in India, there will be around 43,71,000 jobs created by the year 2022. The next is the initiative by UGC in Fit India campaign. So all of us are aware, we received circulars. So the circular was sent to universities, schools, colleges the last year before the National Sports Day, that it is mandatory that the PE in charge and the HOI of the institute should make sure the students are doing some physical activity, at least for 45 minutes. So be it a physical education activity or yoga, so 45 minutes is made compulsory. The same was revised in the month of January, and we are expecting very soon that the physical education will be made compulsory across programs. Today, we have with us strength and conditioning and fitness expert, Ms. Apurva Mathankar. Ma'am, how has the fitness industry changed in the last decade? Please share your inputs, ma'am.
Yes, thank you for the question. And when we talk about fitness industry, like since last 10 years, there we can see the exponential growth in the fitness industry. Initially, when we used to consider many people, so fitness was the last option for them as a career, from a career perspective. But and that time the fitness industries were also very the fitness industry was also very small, and very few fitness academies were there. But as we are being in this profession and we are seeing the growth, the peculiar thing what we can see is many engineering students or many physiotherapists, they are now switching to fitness industry, or to be very precise, as a strength and conditioning professionals. And that's the biggest change which we have noticed during this last 10 years. And they are taking fitness as their prime focus, and they're taking it very seriously from a career perspective. So that's a good change which we have seen in last 10 years in the fitness industry, because if fitness industry grows, then definitely that's the foundation of the sports industry. So if fitness industry is maturing in our India, then definitely the sports industry or the strength and conditioning professionals are going to grow well in the coming years. So that's the big difference which we have seen in last 10 years. Yeah.
Great, ma'am. Thank you for your inputs, ma'am. Moving ahead, there is no shying away from the fact that we are currently in a disruptive situation. We are in lockdown. COVID-19 pandemic is across the world, but the live sports has survived. So most of you will be aware that Bundesliga, English Premier League, which started in the month of June, the IPL 2020, which was deferred to a later date, will be happening at UAE. England West Indies Test Series was played under biosecure bubble. Okay, there is UFC, and there are other leagues like the baseball league happening at South Korea. In New Zealand, the rugby is happening. So the live sports without the audience at the stadium has survived even in the pandemic situation. So you can understand how sports science and technology is assisting the growth of sports. Coming to the next point, the sports ministry initiatives. So most of you will be aware about the Khelo India Youth Games, the school and university games happening. Mr. Kiren Rijiju, our sports minister, has already launched this community coach development program in the month of June. He recently, like in the last week, he has already declared that there will be 1,000 new Khelo India centers, and he has also introduced an internet platform for learning for the coaches, that is e-Pathshala. We have with us Dr. Uttam Kendre, sir. Sir, we will be rooting to you. How has the Khelo India initiative helped the Indian sports ecosystem?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, Kendre, sir. You're audible, please.
It's not only about the winning medals. It is efforts to give strength to the mass participations for playing more. See, this sports ministry's initiative, it helps the Indian sports to participate in the events. This is historic efforts to encourage the youth and attempts to promote the competitive sports. the initiative of this Khelo India is yielding some rich evidence for Indian economy in the form of unpredicted boost in the business industry to sustain or grow even further. Khelo India creates provision for annual scholarships for a period of 8 years up to at pan-India level. And Khelo India is pushing and financing the sports talent. This is going to generate massive demand for the sports equipment facilities, and that will benefit for the sports industries. This Ministry of Sports launched the Khelo India's State Centers of Excellence, aim to create robust sports ecosystem in the country. Ministry identified state-owned sports facilities, 8 states, and which will be upgrade center of excellence. And for that fund, the sports ministry will support for the equipment, for the staff, and for infrastructure for Khelo India. This Khelo India Community Coach Development Program, this is recently launched for the community coaches and the physical education teachers of India to pace up with the knowledge of the professions. So that is all about this Khelo India. Indian government is supporting or promoting the sports to the youth participating in competitive sports.
Great, sir. Thank you for your insight, sir. We'll go ahead to the next point. Since childhood, we have heard, खेलोगे लिखोगे, खेलोगे कूदोगे तो होगे खराब, पढ़ोगे लिखोगे तो होगे नवाब. Finally, we have the National Education Policy 2020, which is encouraging the holistic education through sports and play. Now, the sport won't be an extracurricular activity. It will be part of the curriculum. We have Dr. Jose James, sir, with us. Sir, can you please give some insight about the National Education Policy 2020?
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. National Education Policy is one of the greatest or one of the revolutionary change that's going to take place in India now. Very recently, just a few days back only, Government of India announced the National Education Policy 2020. We were waiting for a new National Education Policy for the last over 35 years, and now we got it. And this National Education Policy is aiming for the total quality development of the student or of the citizens of India. It's not only the academic development, it's not only the economic development, it is the all-round development of the citizens of India. For that, our planners and administrators have well defined that sports is a holistic part, or sports is an integral part of the total quality development. So with that in mind, this sports and physical education, including yoga, has been integrated as a major component to the education field in our country now. As I said earlier, there is going to take place a drastic change. In the school education, there will be a drastic change. In the college education or the higher education, there will be tremendous change. The 3-year degree programs will be changed into 4-year degree programs. Then, of course, the research programs and all. So that will be a great change for our students to attain in the years to come. And there will be a lot of flexibility for the students. Those who want to go for a certificate or diploma or higher diploma can do it along with the programs. There will be a lot of opportunities for the students. And this new education policy is compatible with the education is happening. What education is happening in the developed countries like America or any other country. So this will be a great change for the Indian youth. And though that the time schedule is given 2035, I'm sure that in 2 or 3 years, this will definitely be coming to existence in our country. And as in sports, we'll have a lot of scope and potential in this program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your insights, sir. Let's move ahead to the institute which has launched the program. So first, let's understand the legacy of Somaiya Vidya Vihar. So Somaiya Vidya Vihar was envisioned by Padma Bhushan Karamshi Jethabai Somaiya ji in the year 1959, and the aim was to provide quality holistic education. When it comes to Somaya Sports Academy, he had already envisioned a need of a sports center, sports academy in the 1990s. And in 2001, Somaya Sports Center was established. But by 2016, we understood that there is a need to focus on the high performance sport and the need of the state-of-the-art sports infrastructure. So in 2016, Somaya Sports Academy was launched. So Somaya Sports Academy is armed with the state-of-the-art sports facilities. It has a dedicated team of certified coaches and sports development professionals. Apart from this, we have already started with our academic wing, so which will be taking care about the program, which is MBA Sports Management, jointly conceived and executed with the KJ Somaya Institute of Management, and the program which we are going to learn about today, that is the BSc Sports and Exercise Science. So Somaya Sports Academy provides world-class coaching in 12 sports. Around 3,816 students are trained in credit and non-credit courses. 1,456 students were trained last year to participate at an international level, national level, division, state, district, or taluka. So these many students are currently being trained competitively. When it comes to sports event, the sports community at Somaya campuses is pretty strong now because of the sports activity calendar throughout the year. So last year, there were around 6,000 participants, right from students to staff members. Let's go ahead to the Advantage Somaya Sports Academy. So Somaya Sports Academy is accredited to All India Football Federation. It was rated a 2-star academy last year. So when you have a 2-star academy rating, you can have 3 Hero I-League teams, be it the sub-junior, a junior level, or under 19 level. Last year, we have already launched the junior and sub-junior team. In the picture, if you go to see, this is our junior team in their home kit. We have also got affiliation with Mumbai District Football Association. We have a first division team, a second division team, and a women's division team. Our first division team squad is wearing the traveling kit. Second division are wearing the away kit, and women's division, the squad is wearing the home kit. Coming to training partners, we have the best in business when it comes to the training partners. We have Badminton Gurukul when it comes to badminton. We have Baichung Bhutia football schools as a training partner when it comes to the training of the I-League teams. We have the Skate Academy when it comes to the training of skating. Moving ahead to the state-of-the-art sports facilities Somaya campuses has. So if you go to see, we have a first-class cricket ground situated in an Iyer Vihar campus. We have a football field which can host a Hero I-League game. And across the football field, we have 400-meter long synthetic track. This beautiful track you see is the skating track, which is the best in Mumbai when it comes to speed skating. And we also have a squash court at the Somaya campus. Moving ahead, you can see the handball practice being going on the multi-purpose court. This court doubles up to become a five-a-side football field. We have a tennis court right beside the KJ Somaya Institute of Management College. We have synthetic basketball court for the players. We have a football turf at the Sion campus. You can see our women player practicing at the turf. We have a synthetic badminton court as well. Coming to the eminent sports performers at Somaya. We are thankful to the Somaya students who have made India proud at the world stage. We have Mansi Joshi with us as a panelist. So she was the world champion in Para Badminton World Championship in 2019 held at Basel. She is alumni of KJ Somaya College of Engineering. Coming to Apurva Patil, she was a gold medalist in Judo Commonwealth Games, Walsall, England last year. She is a student of SK Somaya Vinay Mandir College. When it comes to Siddesh Pandey, he represented India in the ITTF Challenge in the Slovenian Open and Croatian Open last year. Siddhesh Pandey is the student of SK Somaya Degree College. As we attend the webinar, Siddhesh Pandey is already in the government camp for the preparation to Olympic 2024, which is a great achievement for him. Coming to Sharvari Parulekar, she represented India in the 3rd Asian Youth Athletics Championship at Hong Kong. Sharvari is the student of K.J. Somaya College of Science and Commerce. We have Rahul Betha. He represented India in the World Junior Champs in Kuala Lumpur last year. Rahul Betha is the current number 2 when it comes to junior squash in India. He is a student of K.J. Somaya College of Arts and Commerce. We have Nidhi Singh. She was the silver medalist in the 4x400 meter Junior Asian Athletics Championship held at Gifu, Japan. Nidhi Singh is a student of SK Somaya Degree College. Next is Vidhi Tekchandani. She is the gold medalist at the WACO Indian International Kickboxing Tournament. She is the student of K.J. Somaya College of Science and Commerce. We hope all our Somaya students will bring laurels to the country and make the country proud, themselves proud, and the support system who are working tirelessly behind them, they will make them proud. Moving ahead to the BSc Sports and Exercise Science. So the first thing is, what is sports science? So sports science applies the study of science to sporting activities. The focus of sports science is to help maximize performance and endurance in preparation for events and competitions while lessening the risk of injury. It is used to help identify strengths and weaknesses so that a training program can be individualized for everyone, from athletes to elderly and everyone in between. Coming to eligibility criteria, boys and girls, if the parents are there in the as attendees. So the eligibility criteria is the student must have passed 10+2 examination with at least 45 marks in aggregate in any stream, be it science, arts, or commerce. Coming to the weightage for qualifying. So let's see how the 100-mark weightage is divided. So first, 20 marks is assigned to the weightage for qualifying exam. That is the score in the 12th exam. Okay. So if you have scored more percentage in 12th exam, you will be getting more marks out of 20. Next is physical fitness test. So this is basically designed by our fitness team, which will be related to muscular endurance and can be taken online. So the student will be performing the test and will be graded by 20 marks. So they'll be getting some marks out of 20. Next is sports proficiency award. So when you are applying on the portal, you will be asked to upload your sports certificates. Okay. So if you have played at a higher level, if you have played internationally and performed well, you will be getting more marks compared to if you're playing at a school level. Okay. So the next comes the person interview to just take care about the integrative thinking and the communication of the students. So we have assigned around 10 marks for that. Then the last and not the least is the online aptitude test. That is Somaya Entrance Test Sport, SETS. So that is 30 marks. So there is a section for 10 marks towards general awareness, 10 marks towards sports science and technology, and 10 marks towards sports proficiency. Okay. Let's go ahead with the program components. The various components in sports sciences are physiology, nutrition, psychology, biomechanics, fitness assessment, strength conditioning, and rehabilitation. Very importantly, it is a full-time 3-year course divided into 6 semesters. The final semester will have 1 month of internship. Moving ahead to the Board of Studies, just to make it clear to all the attendees who are not aware about the roles of the Board of Studies. So Board of Studies members are the guiding light to any program. Their main role is to scrutinize the program details in order to prepare the course curriculum as per current highest standards in the industry. Okay, when it comes to the internal members, we have Professor VNR Pillai, the Vice Chancellor of Somaya Vidyavar University. We have Mr. Aizaz Khan, the Director of Somaya Sports Academy. We have the Doyen of in Marketing, Mr. Professor Isaac Jacob, Area Chairperson in Marketing and International Business. He is from K.J. Somaya Institute of Management. We have Dr. Preeti Mehendale with us, Associate Professor in Kinesiotherapy, K.J. Somaya College of Physiotherapy. When it comes to alumni, we have Ms. Manshi Joshi. As we all are aware, she is the world champion in para badminton. She is also K.J. Somaya College of Engineering alumni. Coming to external experts, we have Mr. Virender Bhandarkar. who is the Deputy Director of Sports Authority of India, which is the apex body when it comes to sports in India. Dr. Joseph James sir is already with us right now. He's part of the Board of Studies. Dr. Uttam Kendre sir. We have Dr. Apurva Mathankar ma'am. And last and not the least, Mr. Prasad Mathankar, who is also the co-founder of Strength and Conditioning Academy India, is also IIM Ahmedabad alumni. So if you go to see, there are vast expertise coming into table while designing the curriculum. Let's go ahead with the crux of the program. What is the students going to learn? So this is the curriculum. If you go to see the big black squash ball, so that is the 14 discipline specific core subjects. So the first is foundation of physical education, anatomy and physiology, very important, computer application, physical education and sports, health education. We have yoga education, exercise physiology, sports technology. You can understand why this is very important in the current scenario. Sports psychology and sports sociology, test measurement and evaluation, physical education, sports ethics, something very new to the Indian sports education, track and field, fundamental of sports training, introduction to strength and conditioning, and strength and conditioning program design. So in the last semester, there will be 2 modules related to strength and conditioning. If you focus on the cricket ball, which is stuck between the basketball, squash ball, and the tennis ball, so that is the ability enhancement compulsory courses. So it is being compulsory, made compulsory by the UGC. So those are English communication and environmental science. In this big basketball, there are 8 skill enhancement courses, which is sports journalism, sports management, exercise prescription, sports for all, posture and athletic care, Olympic education, sports and exercise nutrition, sports diplomacy. Before we move ahead, let us hear from Preeti ma'am on the importance of exercise prescription and athletic care in the BSc program. Ma'am.
Yes. Thank you, Aditya, and good evening, everyone. So we all know that sports is very important, not only cricket, but all the other sports also. And everyone also knows that the minute that there is an injury, we have acute management on field, whatever that may be, and then the athlete goes in rehab. But the importance of rehab is that it has to be done scientifically. It has to be done kinesiotherapeutically, in which the word kinesiology basically means movement and science. So it's science in motion. It's just not important that we have the rehab part done. Okay, the athlete is injured, rest, and then put him through a few exercises and he's gone back to the field again. No, it's not that. We have to put him through a scientific program so that he can not only bounce back as he was before, but also taking care that the same injury and of course any other injury does not happen again. So here the basic exercise prescription should also be done scientifically as well as the rehab program.
Perfect, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you for your answer, ma'am. Let's move ahead to discipline-specific elective subjects. In that, we have kinesiology and biomechanics, sports proficiency 1. So that is the major sport the student will be learning in the program. So we have been asked a lot of time, sir, which all sports will be there when it comes to BSc Sports and Exercise Science. So it will be athletics. You can see the icons: athletics, football, cricket, badminton, basketball, table tennis, squash, yoga, and swimming. So these all 9 options are there for the students to pick up a major. So yeah, so let's move on to research methodology. Very important for the students to learn how to make research papers. Then sports proficiency 2. So this is the minor sport student will be learning. Importantly, if the student opts out for athletics in sports proficiency 1, he has to pick out of the 8 remaining sports in sports proficiency 2. Then comes sports specific skill enhancement. So in sports specific skill enhancement, student will be learning the nuances of sport, which he or she has already taken in sports proficiency 1. We have a project work and dissertation as per the 1-month internship. So students will be undergoing 1-month internship in various settings like a gym or health center, a sports academy, or sports leagues. Okay, so there are various settings where the student will be going. The student might be going to an international school to learn the aspect of a PE teacher, or a college. Okay, so there are various settings the students will be exposed to when it comes to the internship module. Let's move ahead. Very important is the academic flexibility. Okay, so academic flexibility is already included in the National Education Policy 2020. So it is helpful to shape the leaders of tomorrow. Upholding the legacy of being the pioneer of high quality education, Somaiya Vidya Vihaar University is committed to providing an integrated educational offering that is as new age as it is future ready. Okay, so all of you please focus on what I am telling you right now. So the main program is the BSc Sports and Exercise Science, and from that we are deriving into 4 smaller courses. The first is Diploma in Sports Sciences. We have experienced that many students are forced to drop out in between. So let's take an example of an engineering student. He has completed all the 4th semester perfectly fine. He has scored great marks, but if he drops out, he won't be getting a degree or diploma. But when it comes to academic flexibility, we have a provision of offering diploma in sports science to the students on successful completion of all the mandatory courses from 1st to 4th semester. Okay, so this scheme covers all the courses related to sports sciences. The second is Diploma in Sports Conditioning and Training. So the modules which are there in the 5th and 6th semester combines and becomes a Diploma in Sports Conditioning and Training. We will be launching this course from the next year onward because there are many practical components which cannot be conducted in this pandemic situation. Moving into minor in fitness management, there are 4 to 5 modules in minor programs which can be conducted and which comprises and becomes a minor in fitness management. So any student who is doing an engineering course from K.D. Somaiya College of Engineering, or who is doing accounting or finance course from S.K. Somaiya Degree College can come down to Somaiya Sports Academy and do the minor in fitness management. So he or she will have an opportunity in terms of academic flexibility. He will be learning the banking finance sector as well as the fitness management. Coming to certification course in sports coaching. So we can have a 1-week-long sports coaching certification program in collaboration with the Sports Authority of India or any other sports federation, be it AIFF or AFI at Somaiya Vidya Vihaar. Okay, we can have small workshop for the students to learn the latest technology, the sporting platforms, the software which is being used in analytics. We can have a workshop dedicated to para sport, which is coming up in near future. Let's focus on this minor in different minors option available at Somaiya Vidya University. A student doing a BSc Sports and Exercise Science can do a minor in financial market, business management, mass media, entertainment media, advertising, data science, and others offered by the other institutes under the umbrella of Somaiya Vidya University. Just you have to clear the eligibility criteria and you can enroll for the minor programs. So let's move ahead to action learning. We have the Student Sports Council at Somaiya Sports Academy, which is the Team Invictus. So the students of BSc Sports and Exercise Science will have the opportunity to be a part of Team Invictus and learn the on-ground application of the theoretical subjects they are learning in the classroom. Coming to coaching and training, we have around 114 teams across the 12 sports. So a good platform for the students to learn the nuances of coaching and training. We have many grassroots team. When it comes to the Somaiya school, we conduct summer camps and winter camps for our off-site schools who come down to Somaiya Vidya Vihaar. So it's a great learning opportunity for the students to how to apply the theoretical aspect for that particular age group. Coming to sports event, we have sports event starting right from under 8 age category to the open age category for the elderly as well. So we have Somaiya Football Championship, which is the grassroots football tournament we conduct for under 8, under 10, and under 12. We have tournaments for the staff of Somaiya. For women, we have Toss Women's League. We have staff athletics, where a 60-65-year-old gents and lady also participates from the Somaiya staff members. We have Toss Men's League, a tradition kept alive from 20 years. So that is for the group, for the players from Somaiya Group and Somaiya Trust. So we have 24 teams coming down. So there's many opportunities when it comes to sports events. All of us are aware that events are the lifeblood of sports. But the students who are attending this, the most important event for the students is the Somaya Games, which is a Somaya Institute tournament happening for 8 sports. So in the picture, you can see this is all the cricket captains across Somaya Institutes posing with the trophy. Coming to the highlights of the program. So if you consider the curriculum, we are having future ready professionals. We are making future ready professionals. So the program covers the current and future areas of opportunity. We are aware that there will be opportunity when it comes to sports technology, sports ethics, sports diplomacy, very important sports diplomacy, how the nations are using sport as a medium for soft power. Okay, very important. The tension between maybe India, Pakistan. Okay, so how India is using its power, sports as a soft power. Okay, so students will be learning about that. A new concept is the grassroots sports diplomacy. The students will be learning about that as well. Coming to project-based learning, live project courses for students to learn and apply concepts to real-life projects. The next is placements and internships. There will be a dedicated placement cell at the Department of Sport that will spearhead the training. That is the 1-month internship and the placement. So after the internship period is over, the students will be coming out as a professional. Then we have affiliate programs. Like I told you, we can have small certificate programs for the students. The students also have opportunity to do a post-graduation study. So BSc Sports and Exercise Science is well recognized across India, and students can do a post-grad study in MSc Sports Coaching, MSc Sports and Exercise Biomechanics, MSc Sports and Exercise Nutrition. We have an MBA Sports Management offered jointly with K.D. Somaiya Institute of Management. So students can look into the post-grad study and do a master's degree as well. The most important, where all the students will be getting placed, where are the career opportunity after doing this program. So the first is sports persons, teams and club. So there are opportunities which exist to work with sports persons at individual level or with the various teams and sports clubs for a promising career. Coming to commercial fitness centers, the graduates can work as fitness trainers or consultants in these facilities to offer scientific advice and training to their clients. Coming to school, colleges, and other education institutions, so the sports trainers, along with physical education specialists, can monitor the physical condition of the students and impart special training to improve the sporting activities. Very important is the new trend, which is the corporate sector and industries. There is a growing demand for fitness consultants and trainers in our country to work in large corporate sectors and industries which operate healthcare and fitness centers. We have Google India, we have the Infosys in Pune, who look out for fitness consultants to make their employees fit. So there is a module, like the HR takes the initiative, like before you come to work, you work out like for 45 minutes and then you come to work. Okay. Then last but not the least is the private practice, which is kind of a freelancing the students can do. Let's focus on the job opportunity. So we have seen the careers. Okay. So that is the broad area. Let's come to job opportunities. So we have skill enhancement courses, like we have seen when I was explaining curriculum. The students can get into sports analytics, to sports retail, health and fitness chains, health and fitness apps. I hope you all are aware about Spotify. Then Healthify Me, sports medicine and nutrition, event management companies, sports leagues, sports specialists, and sports media management. So these are the sectors where the jobs will be available after the students complete their BSc Sports and Exercise Science. Coming to the resources and capabilities. Okay, so let's consider these images, which is right at the extreme end. So these are the 12 sports covered in Somaiya campus. So we have coaching going on for athletics, football, volleyball, cricket, badminton, squash, lawn tennis, taekwondo, kalaripayattu, which is an ancient martial art form, skating, table tennis, and basketball. So we already have the sports trainers at Somaiya Sports Academy, which will be taking the practical module of the Sports Proficiency 1 and Sports Proficiency 2. When it comes to the infra, we have state-of-the-art computer labs at Somaiya Vidyadhar University. We have the biomechanics lab already at K.A. Somaiya College of Physiotherapy. When it comes to the anatomy and physiology and all the modules related to sports medicine, so we have K.A. Somaiya Hospital at our Ayurvihar campus. We have this Eklavya Sports Complex coming up, which will be housing the BSc Sports and Exercise Science students. So we will be having classroom there. Apart from the classroom and admin area, it will be having 3 badminton courts, 1 multi-purpose court, 5 squash courts, 1 international size Olympic pool, 2 table tennis halls, 1 strength and conditioning gym. So this will be the state-of-the-art sports complex right at Somaiya Vidyavargi University. I hope you are clear with the program offered. I will request Mr. Ashutosh to please take it forward from here.
Thank you so much, Adi. That was a brilliant presentation and it was a detailed one. And I think many of the doubts of our attendees must have been cleared already. However, I have a few questions that I will be asking the panelists, which I think will be very helpful for our attendees. And there are some frequently asked questions that we have received as well through emails or queries that we receive on call. So I will be putting these questions across to our attendees. So for all the attendees, I would like to mention that if you have any questions that we have not covered up or you want to put across, please feel free to drop it in your in the chat box, and we'll look into these questions. If the time permits, we will be going through these questions. And if any of your questions are not answered, please do not worry. At the end of the presentation, we will be showing you our website links and the email addresses where you can share these questions with us and we will be answering all your queries. All right. Yes, so my first question will be to Dr. Jose James. Jose sir, I would like to ask this question. We have received it a couple of times and we think it is important that people know what is the difference between PPA program and BSc Sports and Exercise Science.
Yeah, it's a very good question, and it's a very relevant question also. See, usually BPEd program is a 1 year or 2 year program after graduation. After graduation, those who want to go for the education profession, especially for teaching field, earlier it was 1 year program, and now it is as part of the NCT the regulations. It's a 2 year program. It's for the degree like the graduates. Now BSc Physical Education program is a undergraduate program even after the +2 qualifications. So those who want to do a degree program in physical education, they have to go for the BSc Sports program so that they can go for other higher programs also, MSc Physical Education, Sports Science, or any other program also. So I think it's clear now.
Perfect, sir. Thank you so much. I think that will be clearing the doubt of all our attendees and the question whoever has asked this us. We get this question regularly, and I think you have cleared all the points out here for us. Thank you so much, sir. I'll move on to Apurva ma'am. Apurva ma'am, we get this question again and again that how important is this strength and conditioning right now, and how important is the module in sports, because conventionally coaches have never trained it in the earlier stages, earlier years. But now it has been given so much importance. So how important is it really?
When we talk about strength and conditioning, it's all about enhancing the performance of the athlete. So that is one of the goal of a strength and conditioning. But the major goal of strength and conditioning is the injury prevention. So for any athlete, injuries or injury prevention is a very, very delicate aspect, because once the athlete is injured, straight away his 6 to 9 months are lost and he is completely thrown out of the competitive race. So if the proper strength and conditioning program and if his physical program is made in a proper way, definitely the chances of injuries are less. And in the same manner, the performance enhancement protocols are also there, which will help to improve his performance. Because many of times you might see there are 2 athletes with the same caliber, with the same coach, but yet one is at a higher level and the other one is at the lower level. So what's the difference between both the athletes is their physical preparedness. And by strength and conditioning workouts and or applying science to his sport, we try to enhance his physical preparedness, and in a same manner he is going to enhance his performance is going to enhance in the coming future. So thus strength and conditioning becomes very crucial part in any athlete's performance. So I think that's the major thing what we talk about.
Perfect, ma'am. Thank you so much for clearing this out for us. As we are looking at upcoming leagues, as Aditya has mentioned, all these teams have a special strength and conditioning coaches. So we understand the importance, and you have made sure that everybody is aware of it now. So thank you so much for that. We will move on to the next question. I have this for Mr. Aizaz Khan, sir. Sir, the question that was asked to us was, will the program be taught online due to this pandemic situation?
Yeah, Ashu. See, considering the current COVID situation and the government advisory, this semester look like to be conducted online. Mostly theory with practical examples and case studies. So if things open up by the end of November, December, we might conduct practical, a few of the modules at the campus. And online timing, I would say the timings are going to be almost the same. It's a 7 hour, 7 hours of timing, where from 9 to 4, this is basically, and we give a 1 hour break between 1 and 2. And this time is basically considered as like for a sports person, it's pretty good. They can play in the morning and the evening both.
That's absolutely brilliant, sir. Yes, that was considered, the timing has been considered as a sports person, and it will be really great. So yes, thank you for clearing that out. Even in these situations, we are going ahead with the courses thanks to the technology and thanks to Samaj Sports Academy for this.
Ashu, so, the course is basically, I just want to clear out one more thing, is it's been designed in such a way that because of this, we have reworked and worked on a scheme that we made sure that even if we missed out on the whole year also, we have lots of theory that can be like, consider the first semester then or the second semester. And then the theory would all come because it's a 3 years course. So it's all been planned properly that way. So nothing to worry.
Perfect, sir. Thank you so much. Yes. So we'll move on to Miss Mansi Joshi. Mansi, I have a question very specific to your field. So right now, sports technology and sports science has been talked about a lot. However, how the development of sports science and technology has helped para sports in these years? Is there any specific thing that you can tell us?
Thank you, Ashu, for your question. Yeah, it's like a great question. Para sports is, I think, Paralympics is third most watched event after Olympic Games and FIFA World Cup. And what is sports science? Like sports science, what is the main purpose? That is minimum injury and maximum performance. So in para sports is for people who have a disability or people who had an injury before. Like I'm an injured person and I'm playing para sports. So, for people having a disability, injuries are little more common compared to able-bodied athletes. But in para sports, the best part is that, you can compete with only people who have your kind of disability. So like under 19 do not compete with under 17 or under 10, or like women don't compete with men. It's similarly in para sports, people having similar disabilities compete with people who have that kind of a disability. So sports science in these years, like in last few years, has changed the way para sports is excelling. I'll tell you what has been done. So if you remember Oscar Pistorius, he was able to compete at Olympic Games in 2012 Olympics, and he changed the way. And people used to say that, he is using extra spring in his prosthetic, and because of that, he is able to compete. So this is the way the sports science has taken para sports in future, or it has taken this far. Currently, a lot of research is going on in terms of sociology, ethics, ergonomics, exercise science, physiology, and biomechanics. But I think a lot needs to be done. And I think this course, BSc Sports Science, is a very important course because people or students learning this will also get a chance to, take care or study about other sports like para sports. And I'm sure, these people will be also people writing the research paper in future. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's great, Mansi. You have given the details of how it has helped, and you are expecting it out of our students. Yes, I think our students will be writing research for us in future, and they will go through a lot of things that we are going to teach them regarding sports science and technology. Thank you so much. I'll move on to Preeti ma'am. Preeti ma'am, I would like to ask you a question regarding athlete rehabilitation and how kinesiotherapy helps the athlete rehabilitation. I know you have covered that point a little bit, but can you throw some more light on that for us, please?
Yes, I will. Thanks, Ashutosh. So, as I had just mentioned, we have a lot of athletes, and as Apurva and Mansi also mentioned about the first main thing is not to get injured. So, you play the sport very well. So, with that, what you need is a very good, strong, and flexible body. And if the body is strong and flexible, it will bend and it will flex, but there will not be any injuries. However, if there are any injuries, we need to treat them physiologically and scientifically. It's not that, okay, what may work for one athlete will not always work for the other, even though the injuries might be the same, even though the diagnosis on paper also might be the same. But the capabilities of one person and the second person will definitely be different. So no rehab program can be made for like a group, like A, B, C, D, E, all go in for the same rehab program. They might have the same injury, but their rehab status will be different. Their own personal capabilities, hereditary and genetic factors also play an important role, and as well as nutrition. So you have a lot of good nutraceuticals which are coming in the market, so which are also help in for the recovery. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Thank you so much, ma'am. There were too many factors into it, and you have explained it to us. So yes, so we understand that rehabilitation is not like earlier days now. It has too many factors that are considered, and nutrition being one of the most important part in it. So thank you so much for clearing it out for us. My next question will be to Apurva ma'am. Apurva ma'am, as you are from strength and conditioning field and you have made invested too many years into the field, there has been a misconception that keeps going on that, girls taking up strength and conditioning and fitness roles, they might not succeed and they might not be very good for them. So what are your thoughts on this?
Thank you for the question, but that's a really big myth because for females, taking strength and conditioning as their profession is one of the most promising thing I feel, because right now, as you know, the most common thing is like for every sport there are female teams or women teams are there, for cricket, for basketball, for hockey, for everything. But so that's the gross answer for that there is a huge scope in this industry for female strength and conditioning professionals. The another most important is there are multiple domains of a female athlete. When you talk about an athlete, there are two male athlete and a female athlete, but training a male athlete is comparatively easier, and it's very A to Z, that's it. But when it comes to a female athlete, there are multiple components involved in that, because as you know, the hormonal system of the female is different. There is a reproductive cycle of the female, and all these little aspects come in the picture. And to deal with these aspects, a female strength and conditioning professional will be always preferred as compared to a male strength and conditioning professional. So it's a very good opportunity for the women or for the females to take SNC. So the profession is very lucrative, no doubt about it. And the rapport which they can build with these all athletes, it can be a male athlete or a female athlete. A female SNC person can build a better rapport with the athlete. That's what I can say from my own experience, because now I am being in this industry. I was in US also. So when it comes to actually training athletes, even though if it is a male athlete in front of me, I can build a better rapport with him as compared to a male strength and conditioning coach, because females have that way of communication and everything. And if it is a female athlete in front of me, then definitely there is no one else the female athlete is going to have a better rapport with a female SNC as compared to a male SNC. So that's how it's a wonderful career option for females who are interested in sports. And the majority of the times it happens that females are very reluctant, because when it comes to sports, so they just feel that if you're getting into the sports or you're getting into an SNC, you have to stand in the ground under the sun the whole day, and all those things comes in the female's mind. But that's not a question. You can just work with your athletes properly, and so yes, the bottom line is the females are the best SNC coaches. That's what I have seen during these so many years. So that's it. So all those girls who are there in the webinar, please do come ahead and join this course, because that's going to make your career. And another big question is the competition is very less when it comes to a female SNCs. So you get a better job opportunities as well in this industry. So that's what is my experience says.
Right, absolutely. So thank you so much for clearing it out, ma'am, because there were too many doubts in the female applicants that, if we are going through this course, how it is going to work. I think you have covered all of it, and you have mentioned how they can be better than all the male athletes and all the sports and conditioning trainers, strength and conditioning trainers rather. So thank you so much for clearing these doubts for us, and I think we'll have many more female registrations now after you have cleared it out. So I'll move on to Kendra sir here. Kendra sir, I have a question for you. What is the age limit to apply for this course? So as can anybody apply, or is there an age limit? How is it?
Yeah. See, for taking admission for this BSc Sports and Exercise Science, already Aditya explained, this is first criteria, he should be pass HSC or its equivalent examinations with 45 marks, 45%. Second is age limit is 17 to 25 years of age. These are the two main criteria eligibility for this taking admission for this BSc Sports Science course.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for clearing it out, sir.
Yeah.
So 17 to 25, anybody who is into this and who has completed HSC and any field, right? So any course that they have done, like arts, commerce, and science, it doesn't matter. So yes, thank you for clearing it out for us, sir.
Sorry, can you guys hear?
Yeah.
So going back to the questions, I'll go ahead with Joseph Jain sir. Joseph sir, I have a question for you.
I can't hear.
That has been introduced, will it be enforced immediately? Does the current 3-year program that we have
will it be made 4-year program?
Can you repeat it, please? Repeat it. Hello, can you please repeat the question?
Ashutosh, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Now I can hear you all. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Please repeat.
Can you repeat the question? Yeah. Please repeat the question.
Yeah. So the question is, do you think the new education policy that we have, will it be enforced immediately? And does the current 3-year program that we have here, will it be made a 4-year duration program in the future?
Yeah, it's a concern. Very good. It's a concern for many students, first-year students now. See, as per the new National Education Policy 2020, it has given a time frame that goes up to 2035. Anyway, I am sure that this year it will not going to take place, because the next stage is it has to come out as a regulation, an ordinance. Then the rules, regulations, everything has to come into force. So maybe it will take another 5 to 8 months. By the time the current academic year will be almost over, and hopefully by next year we will be able to start the program or we can change the program to a 4-year degree program. I'm sure that this year it will not. Whoever joins the program this year will be able to complete the program in 3 years, and maybe in the next year or after 1 or 2 years, this program will be changed into a 4-year program. Okay.
All right. Yep. So thank you for clearing it out, sir, because a lot of students would have that doubt with new education policy in place. So I have a question for Kendra sir once again. So Kendra sir, the question here is, will the students enrolled in our course, will they be allowed to play into AIU competitions? Also, there was somebody who has asked us a question in the chat box that while doing this course, can the students play state and national sports? So if you can cover this point, it will be really great.
Yeah. First thing, to take part in AIU competition, Association Indian Universities competitions, this Somaiya University should become a member of that AIU. That procedure is this: we have to send this online applications with this fees. Once we send our applications, AIU will give a registration. We will become a member. Once we become the member of AIU, our university students can take part on the Somaiya University in inter-university competitions. And national level competitions, they can take part while doing this course also. It's no harm, no problem.
Right, sir. So regarding, sir, the state and national level sports also, they can participate in this, right?
National level sports, because this national level sports, that comes under this association, respective sports associations.
Right,
they
sir.
Part in that respective sports association competitions, and through them they can go for this national level competitions or even international.
Perfect, sir. So their course, it doesn't matter as these courses, as the sports are organized by organizations and federations. It won't matter. They can still continue playing this course. Thank you so much for clearing it out, sir. My next question will be to
this one more thing you can add to that is they have a better chance to perform for the university, Somaiya University. So so if you are a part of the Mumbai University, you compete with so many universities which come under Mumbai to play or represent the university. In this case, you will be directly representing the University of Somaiya.
Somaiya University,
Right. So there was one question on similar lines as we are covering the topic right now. Somebody had asked that will we be affiliated to Mumbai University? So as a sir, that question I will just put for you. There are two questions here for you. First one is how are we affiliated? Are we affiliated to Mumbai University? Can you just put the light on that so it will be clearer?
So it is divided into two. We have few colleges which are affiliated with Mumbai University. But now, since we are a private university, Somaiya Vidya University is a private on its own. So that is as good as parallel to Mumbai University. But there are few colleges which is inside the campus. They come under Mumbai University.
Yes, perfect, sir. So basically, Somaiya Vidya University will be separate, and it will be competing against Mumbai University and other university at AIU level, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. And the next question is for you again, sir. This will be the last one before we move on to Aditya for admissions process. The question is there any provision of merit-based or need-based scholarship for the students who are in need in right now situation?
Scholarship, yeah. Yes, we do have. I think the easiest would be at this stage to explain everyone. Simple as if you can do a search of scholarship at Somaiya. In Google, you'll find that, or go on our website. Under the scholarship column, you will find there. Otherwise, I can ask Aditya or Ashutosh just to share the link of this, where you'll find all the information related to scholarship.
Perfect, sir. Thank you so much. So I will just move on to Aditya. I will just hand it over to Aditya. Do not worry, people, whoever has posted their questions in the chat box, we will be going through it after the admission process has been explained. So over to you, Aditya. You can explain the admissions process and then we will go to the questions again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashu. So we'll quickly run through the admission process. Let's understand the eligibility first. So any domicile holder of Maharashtra, Gujarati linguistic minority, or all other resident of Maharashtra can apply for the course. All citizens of India, you can be an NRI, PIO or OCI student, and even international students can apply for the course. Okay, so let's go to the eligibility. I'll just repeat. The minimum, you should be at least scoring 45% marks in aggregate and it can be in science, arts, or commerce stream. Very importantly, the candidate should appear in the Somaiya entrance test sports and should obtain a non-zero score in this qualifying examination. So this SET is an online exam which will be conducted, and you have to score a non-zero mark in that. Let's see the step-by-step admission process. So first of all, the student has to go online and do an online application. After that, the documents uploaded will be verified, and on the basis of 10+2, the students will be getting marks out of 20. Then comes the sports proficiency award. Depending on the certificates uploaded, the students will be again graded out of 20. Then physical fitness test is the fourth step. Again, the student will be graded out of 20. Then we'll be having the person interview, which will be through video conferencing in this pandemic situation for 10 marks. The Somaiya entrance test for 30 marks. After every steps are completed, these 5 steps are completed till Somaiya entrance test, we'll be making a merit list and we'll be sending the link. So selected candidates will get an invitation for admission. So that will be an offer letter and an invitation to the for the admissions. Then last, candidates will accept the admission and pay the fees. Okay, so that is the 8-step process. Coming to the program fees, so the application form fee is 500 rupees. For this academic year, the total fee is 1,42,600, which applies to the next year as well. In the third year, it is 1,63,330. The students have an option to pay the full amount of the first year fees, or they can opt out for installment schemes. So the first installment to fix their seat is 35,000 rupees. Second installment is 33,800. There's a refundable deposit of rupees 5,000. And the fourth installment before the second semester examination, the students have to pay 68,800 rupees. Okay. There is hostel fees, hostel availability at Somaiya campus. So there is Maitri hostel for the girls and Sandipani for the boys, but it depends on the availability. I'll just go through the rent. For 10 months is 1,37,500, security deposit of 20,000, a registration fee of 1,000 rupees. We have the mess deposit of 5,000 rupees. So total per year cost in the hostel is 1,63,500. Very importantly, let's go to the important dates. So the application portal is already live. We have received many applications, but for the first round, the last date of form submission is 20th of August. For round 2, it is 28th of August. The physical fitness test and person interview will be conducting between the 14th and 18th August for the round 1 and 21st to 28th August for round 2. We have the Somaiya entrance test sports, that is the online multiple choice question without any negative marking, which will be conducted on 23rd of August at 2 p.m. That is for round 1. For round 2, it is 30 August, 2 p.m. Both are Sundays. The inauguration of this program will be on 16th of September. Then is the commencement of induction. So students will be inducted on how the program will be executed from 17th September, and from 21st September, the program will be commenced. I'll hand it over to you, Ashutosh, to just check the questions asked. Thank you.
Thank you, Adi. So yes, we have got some questions. So I think the first one I have already covered regarding the sports. Judges sir, there is one question that is something that I would like to ask you. There is a student who want to continue the civil services, so for which graduation is needed. So will this degree be okay for that? So the question I assume is basically, will this degree be equivalent to other degrees that are happening in other universities? Hello, Joseph sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, of course. And see, this degree, this is equivalent to any other degree. So we have to consider this as a degree of any Indian university. For that, there will be a little process that the university, the Somaiya University will take it up. And definitely this will be equivalent to any other degree awarded by any sister university in India.
Perfect, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, so for all our attendees, the degree will be equivalent to any other degrees that you're getting in any of the colleges. So you can pursue this degree and apply for any other master's degree or jobs as per your requirement. So my next question is to Eza sir. Couple of people have asked this. Are the minor and certificate courses open to the students from other courses? Can you please give us some information on that, sir?
Yes, they are open to other courses for which are basically Sumaya or part of Sumaya College only, provided if they have enough time, because there will be scheduled which course is running where and when is the minor course happening. So as per that, if you have the time availability, you can always see the timetable and then pay the fees and attend the course. I hope that is clear.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. The course can be opted by other students as well from Somaya. So you guys can look into the options that are available if you have any friends who are looking.
Like somebody is in engineering college and he wants to do a small course over here, they can come and join us. It's the other way around. If somebody is from here, also can go and do a finance course somewhere else. If provide in the Somaya campus under the Somaya banner, and if they have the option and they have the time to do it, of course that has been allowed.
Perfect, sir. So my next question will be to Kendra sir.
Yeah.
Kendra sir, the question here that has been asked to me is if the student is not from sports background, if they have no sports background at all, however they want to get into sports, should they get into it? Should they have, or they should have sports background for getting into this course? Is it compulsory to have sports background?
No. It is not necessary. This student, he should have big sports background, because if he qualifies all other eligibility criteria, that is SSC passing, 45% marks, and 17 to 25 years of age, so he is eligible to take part admissions in this course.
Perfect, sir. Thank you so much. So yes, that question has been answered by Kendra sir. I think that's the only questions that we have. Apart from that, all the questions have been answered by us. So yes, thank you so much. So all of you are requested to kindly check on the slide.
Before you go further,
yeah,
there is another question that has come and been asked again. Like it was the BSc course. If you see the last question, while doing the BSc course, student can apply for state and national level sport. I think you have answered this.
Yes, we have answered this. So yes, the students can play these competitions while they are doing this course. As these sports and competitions are organized by the federation, there won't be any restriction. The students can continue playing. So that is the answer.
As soon as your degree college, what you're attending after 12, whether you're into science, you are into commerce, you're into arts, if you're doing any of these degree course, if you're doing a degree college, you are allowed to participate into all these sports. And plus, since you're in a degree college, you'll be representing and you'll be playing the university competitions also. Hope that is clear for everyone.
Yep, perfect. Thank you. Yes, so we'll be moving ahead with the presentation now. I think we are done here. So if anybody has any doubts or any questions that have been unanswered, as we are running out of time now, I don't want to take much of the time. However, any of the attendees have questions or any doubts, please scan the QR code on the screen that has been shown. You can also make a note of the email ID and write us an email if you have any queries, or you can note down the number that is mentioned on the screen and call us for any queries that you have. All right, so you guys can reach out to us as the time is running short. We will not be taking any more questions here. So I thank all the panelists and all the attendees for attending the webinar. I'm sure BSc Sports and Exercise Science is going to boost your sporting career and it is going to shape up your future. So we wish you good luck and hoping to see you all in the classrooms with us. Thank you.